Ted, you could have expected weary legs, I'm guessing, tonight. It looked that way in the third. How pleased, proud are you to have gutted out a game like this?
Really pleased, really proud, and it was exactly what you said. I think we hit a wall there in the third period, and credit to Anaheim. I think they stepped it up a little bit and were forcing us to play a faster, harder game. But our tanks we were running on fumes there in the third period. But you know, from the bench, I think you get frustrated at times with some of the mistakes. But you watch how the guys compete after there is a mistake, and it's not just the guy who made the mistake. It's all, you know, from the goalie to the other four guys out on the ice, you know, trying to do everything to make up for the play.
You went with Anisimov's line against the Getzlaf line tonight, which is giving up a lot of size on the wings. Can you just talk about why you like that matchup and what you thought of the work they did tonight?
I trust Artie down low. Trust him really all over the ice and playing a smart game. He's got some size to play against those guys. So I was expecting Artie to spend most of the time down low in coverage and the other two guys working out in the slot. I like the other guys, Matty Calvert and Cam, just speed. And they're both smart, headsy players too. And hopefully, you know, by those guys using their speed, maybe spending some time in the offensive zone, getting those guys to defend.
You're certainly not in awe of any team you play in this league, but to get a win over them, Anaheim, a team that's been playing so well, does it give you a little bit extra oomph? It seemed like the players were maybe a little more excited than after a typical win.
As the games are winding down here, there's going to be a lot more emotion in these games, you know, whether you win or you lose. And I think you saw it. I think guys know how critical points are, and not just 1 point, 2 points is what we need. And that was just the emotion of, you know, we talked about it ahead of time, talked about it this morning, and you know, the guys want it. You can see it. You talk about the battle and the compete. It's how they're playing. They sense it. They believe. You know, there's hope. You know, those are some powerful things.
Todd, you're going to wake up in 8th place tomorrow. I know some other teams have some games in hand, but does that change anything, the mentality going forward? In other words, maybe some teams are chasing you now at this point?
We talked about that before we went out on this road trip there, you know, to Vancouver, to Nashville, and Edmonton and Calgary. These were all teams that we recently just played here in Columbus. We played Vancouver, well, not back-to-back, but we played them twice in a week. So there was that because we had either beaten or lost in a shootout or overtime to those teams. So we had some success, so there's that. And we were ahead of some teams in the standings. We were ahead of Nashville at the time. We were ahead of Calgary, and we were ahead of Edmonton. And it puts you in that spot. It does create more urgency from other teams, but I think the recent success that we've had also brought that to the forefront as far as the motivation for other teams. The one thing we can't change now is being satisfied. You can't have that, you know, you climb the mountain and you got there and you take a breath. I mean, we're only halfway up the mountain. So there's still a lot of work ahead of us.
Was there any concern coming into this game that with Derek and Jared both out, that an opponent might take liberties? And if so, how much did your compete level tonight sort of fend that off from happening?
You might worry sometimes with missing, you know, Jared out of the lineup. Just the toughness, and again, he gives everyone a little bit of extra confidence, and Jared does his role to a T. He's great at what he does. I think you're worried about that a little bit, but our team, we're going to have to manage and navigate it, and you know, you got to have team toughness. You know, I think if everyone knows that you have each other's back, there's no reason to tiptoe around the ice.
Knowing you would be a tired team tonight, is that why Bobrovsky got the day off in Calgary, because you needed a fresh goalie in this game?
That had something to do with it, but back-to-back nights, and you know, you try to think ahead a little bit, but you know, Mace, I think, came in Nashville and did a good job, and you know, we looked at it. Here's an opportunity for Steve.
3/4 of the season is done now. Quarter left. Does it feel like it? And what is the mood of this team? I know they have 3 days off to kind of get some of their breath back, but You feel good about this 12-game stretch coming up?
We put ourselves in a position to play some important games, and I think that was the goal of everyone. You know, and this is even before the season started. I think you looked at it and you knew it was going to be a shortened season, and the last 10 games you wanted them to mean something, be worth something. Last year, our last 41 games, really we weren't playing for anything. There was pride, and guys were playing for maybe new contracts or whatever. We're playing now for all these games mean something right now. So again, the mood in the locker room is great, and it should be, because the guys have earned it. They really have.
What did you think of Letestu's play tonight? And was his assist the kind of thing that you can take advantage when you're in your own barn and you know where the jump in the boards is? Or is that something you could have seen happening in the roads too?
We've showed different clips of different teams trying that play, and that's just a smart headsy play by a smart player. And obviously a goal and assist. He did some good things in the offensive zone. And there are a lot of things that go on throughout the game, that little subtle things that go under the radar that Mark, when you go back and watch the tape, or you might catch it during the game, that he does really well, just positionally and recognizing, anticipating where the play's going and where he needs to go, whether it's offensively or defensively. And that makes him a really trustworthy player.